Ukraine claims gains in Bakhmut, a war-torn town in Donetsk region, where Ukrainian forces have been fighting against Russian-backed mercenaries from the Wagner Group for months. Bakhmut has been the scene of a brutal and bloody battle since June 2022, when Russia launched a massive offensive to capture the strategic city and cut off Ukraine's supply lines. Ukraine has resisted the Russian onslaught with fierce resistance, but has also suffered heavy casualties and damage. In recent days, however, Ukraine has made some progress in pushing back the Russian forces from the outskirts of Bakhmut. According to Ukrainian officials, they have seized about 3 square miles of territory southwest of the city, in an area of fields, ravines and thickets of trees. They have also inflicted heavy losses on the Wagner Group, a private military company owned by Yevgeny Prigozhin, a close ally of President Vladimir Putin. Prigozhin himself confirmed the Ukrainian advance in a leaked audio recording, and admitted that his troops were running low on fighters recruited from prisons. The Ukrainian military said that the advance was part of a defensive operation to stall the Russian assault on Bakhmut, and not a sign of a major counteroffensive that Kyiv has promised to launch soon. The Ukrainian commanders said that they took advantage of a gap in the Russian positions as regular army troops were moving into place, and used their special forces and volunteer units to strike. They also said that they used artillery and rockets to support their infantry. The battle for Bakhmut has taken on a symbolic significance for both sides, as it represents a test of their will and endurance in the longest-running war in Europe. Both countries have invested resources and sacrificed soldiers in a high-stakes effort to wear each other down, with Russia slowly gaining control of most of the city and its surroundings. Ukraine has vowed to defend Bakhmut at all costs, and to liberate it from Russian occupation. The fighting in Bakhmut comes amid an escalation of tensions and violence along the entire front line between Ukraine and Russia, which spans more than 250 miles. Ukraine has reported increased attacks by Russian drones and sabotage groups behind its lines, as well as shelling and sniper fire along the contact line. Russia has accused Ukraine of preparing for a spring offensive, and has deployed thousands of troops and heavy weapons near the border. The international community has expressed alarm over the deteriorating situation in eastern Ukraine, and has called for an immediate ceasefire and a peaceful resolution of the conflict. China's envoy is currently visiting Ukraine and Russia for peace talks, hoping to broker a deal that would end the hostilities and restore stability to the region. The envoy has met with President Zelensky in Kyiv, and is expected to meet with President Putin in Moscow soon. China has been trying to position itself as a potential peace broker in the war between Ukraine and Russia, especially as its top leader, Xi Jinping, casts himself as a global statesman in China as an alternative to the United States for global leadership. In February 2023, China issued what it described as a 12-point peace plan for Ukraine, though Western officials criticized it as lacking substance. Still, since the war broke out in February 2022, many in the West have looked to the role that China could play. Kyiv has described China, which has a close partnership with Russia, as potentially the only country with enough sway to persuade President Vladimir Putin of Russia to end the war. But the close ties between Moscow and Beijing have also spurred concerns in Europe and the United States that China might in fact act to help Russia's war effort. China has refrained from condemning its strategic ally Moscow or referring to its actions as an invasion, leading to criticism from European countries and the United States, which have questioned China's credibility as a potential broker in the conflict. China has also expressed skepticism over Western sanctions and involvement in the region, saying that they could escalate the situation and undermine a political settlement. In an attempt to demonstrate its commitment to promoting peace talks, China has sent a top envoy, Li Hui, to visit Ukraine, Russia and other European cities on Monday. Li is China's special representative for Eurasian affairs and former ambassador to Russia. He is the most senior Chinese official to visit Ukraine since Russia invaded in February 2022, and his trip could coincide with the beginnings of a long-anticipated counteroffensive by Ukraine to recapture territory seized by Russia. Li's visit comes weeks after she held a phone call with his Ukrainian counterpart Volodymyr Zelensky in late April, in the first talks between the two leaders since the war began.